haven't used this to run since a couple months, but I have to change the batteries over again. So my talk today is about going dark. At Cirque du Soleil, when I used to work at La Nuba in Orlando, there was a term that the company used called going dark, and it usually referred to the vacation time when the whole facility shut down. And it was important because people need a little bit of a break. It's always nice to rejuvenate and make sure you're healthy for the performance, but that's what I'm talking about today, is going dark with regards to the next few months. It's now November, and today it's 60 degrees, which is really cool, but I'm sure in Chicago it's going to drop fast. Same with any other place, no matter where you are in the US. So the great strides that you've been able to make as far as walking or hiking or exercising outdoors, just getting outdoors, meditating, whatever it is, we might have to kind of tidy that up and go dark for a few months, which is why I always suggest that if you're going to make a change, try not to make the change or try not to go for some great drastic goals in the months of winter. We have a lot of stressors in the winter anyway. The new year comes up, which kind of is inspiring in itself, but cold weather is very, gets the heart down, zaps your enthusiasm and energy. So unless you're with a group, I usually say take it easy. I wouldn't say go into couch potato mode, but I would usually try to work out. And this is why the value of a calendar. This is a calendar at my local church. It was given away for a very nominal amount. And I usually will hallmark with a big old X the end dates of the month, the last Saturdays of the month, and the last day of the month, as hopefully making it through that whole month until we get to March. Last day of March also signifies the preparation for Easter, April. So if you have, I think when you have it on a calendar, especially with your goals, or if you're on your own, soloing with your exercise routine, the calendar and seeing the dates just empowers you to be more successful and sustain and maintain. Lets you to hang in there when you can see the countdown. There's something that's tangible that you can get to, versus just assuming that you'll wake up the next morning when there's snow and you have to shovel and you're going to have the enthusiasm to exercise. If that's you, that's great, but the majority of my patients, myself included, I can't wait till if I wait until the next day or the next week to say, okay, I'm going to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning and then go exercise. Without a plan, something else always comes up. There's always other priorities. I talked about in my last video on supplements and vitamins. You have to prioritize your fights and kind of figure out which is the most important down to which is the least important, and kind of helps you be more successful and enduring. So same thing with the exercise routine. I put this blinker, strobe light, I use it as a marker. I use it as a marker when I'm exercising or running outdoors. I always put it on my backpack in case I'm soloing at night. Those of you who are going to continue with walking or hiking through this darker season, please, you have to have some form of a headlamp. This is a headlamp that's real cheap. This is by Petzl. This is my first headlamp. You can actually get online and change the intensity, change it to red, but you have to have something around you. This is nice because you can wear it up here. Hands are free for other things, keys or whatever. There's also fancier ones that last a longer amount of time. And my fancy ones that I use when I'm soloing in the wilderness have extra battery power. They also have a lumen that's into the thousands, so I can light up my pathway, versus some of the AAAs that might light this up. You might have a distance of about a yard in front of you. My other one, I can light up about a mile away. So this is important. Lighting is important, not only for you to see where you're going, but also for other people to know that you're there. In the winter, pedestrians are, we have a lot of motor vehicle accidents that come to the emergency room. It's because pedestrian versus car, well, some people get tired, some people can't see. Sometimes it's slippery outside and you can't get out of the way, so you really have to be careful. I just ask you to continue with your endeavors, but be very, very careful. If you are the type that uses the roadway, please pick the sidewalk. Get off of this street. I can't tell you how it anguishes me when I see people jogging on the street. There might be less cracks than the sidewalk, but you're just waiting for a problem to happen. And plus, you really should be using grass or dirt because it's more forgiving than pavement. And especially pavement is more forgiving than a road, because most of the time the road is crowned, so you're going to be your feet are going to be canted to one side, so get off the road. And if those of you who are using the trail, fine. It's nice because with all the vegetation down, at least in Illinois, you can see through for animals or big puddles. Just have to be careful that you always take protection. And I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I've talked about in my other videos mace or sound as far as protection. I mean, this is too big. This is a taser. This is my usual key ring, and on the key ring, I got this for like 10 bucks at Amazon. On my key ring, it is easy to handle, and it also gives me a knife in case I need it for emergencies. I can break glass if I have to rescue anybody, or defend in case there's something in the way. So when I go soloing in our national parks, I always carry a firearm. I mean, it's important. If the firearm is legal in that state, I carry it. But it's just protection. Probably more safety for me, but when I'm with others, which is what I suggest for all folks, buddy up and find out in your area if there's a meet-up group and try to go with somebody else so you can also inspire. The other thing you can do is all these Planet Fitnesses, Anytime Fitness in Illinois, you have Fitness 19. There's a lot of the exercise in a box kind of places that offer $10 a month memberships. And most of them you can cut your membership without any kind of a penalty early. You don't have to stay there for a whole year. So it is automatic deduction. You have to surrender the credit card, but for the most part, they are pretty good. And a lot of facilities will have trainers if you want to take advantage of a coach of some sort. Or if you're pretty good, then you can take your exercise from outside to the inside. Again, I hate treadmills. I think the treadmills are painful to the joints. It's better than nothing, and they're very boring. I think I've spoken about how if you're in one place, even though your feet are moving and your surroundings don't change, the brain knows you're in one place, and it'll make it very boring after a while. And with boredom comes unsustainability, low enthusiasm, low morale, and you're going to quit. Something else will take priority. So again, I would say if you're going to go for a treadmill, which I have, but I have to psych myself into knowing there's an endpoint to this, I'll use the treadmill, but I'll use it up until the point when I graduate, and I usually go with 12 weeks, and just so happens in November, if I prepare now, maybe detox myself in the month of December, I'm ready January 1st to make it to March and April, target. At that point in time, snow is cutting back a little bit. I can take groups, which I'm going to do this time in, well, 2016. I'm taking a group hiking somewhere. I haven't decided where. It's either going to be Starved Rock or Douglas Lake, but since so many of my patients and internet followers are making such great gains, it's inspiring me to lead local hikes. So that'll be my gift back to patients. But whatever you do decide, try to condense it when you're going dark. Do not get more restrictive with your nutrition. We need vitamin D, we need sunlight, and when you don't have it, sometimes you have to use omega-3 and vitamin D at higher doses. I'll not talk about that right now, but just to prepare for getting through the winter months. And once you have met that end date of, say, the first week or first day of April, last day of March, then you can probably start talking about jumping into getting more restrictive with your macronutrients or going on a different type of diet. I have no problems with the type of diet that my patients choose. It has to be sound. I don't go crazy. I wouldn't go anything less than 1,200 calories per day. and I don't like restrictive diets, but if you can get into anything that will just be for a short amount of time, and you leapfrog into some form of whole food plant-based diet after that, then that's perfect. Always get a physical to just check out a couple things beforehand, and if your insurance covers without too much of a copay, getting baseline tests as far as cortisol, hormones, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12, a couple others, iron if you're a woman, man if you get a sedimentation rate or CRP. All those I think are important. Hopefully one of your primary care doctors or your physicians will do a little bit of functional testing, but I think they're important before you go dark, because after you go dark you want to make sure that you maintained yourself before we sprint into some new activity for the springtime. That's what springtime is meant to do. You're supposed to hibernate, stay quiet, maintain, don't go too low, but maintain, don't have too many high goals, maintain. Maintain your relaxation practice, maintain your activity, and we're going to change around activity a little bit, but not give it up. And then maintain your nutrition. I always say this is the best time because you're going to be kind of just leveling off and maintaining. This is the best time to invest in some form of relaxation practice. Deepak and Oprah are finishing up their 21-day meditation challenge. You can see a lot of their other previous meditation challenges for sale on Deepak's website. I'll put a link to it here. I have a lot of the CDs that I keep on playing over and over again, and it's very inspiring. It's 21 days at a time. Imagine if you just buy 3 different sets, or just buy one set, 21 days, you play it at the first 3 weeks of every 3 months. You got it. You'll be inspired, at least you might be guided into some form of relaxation. Mine is stay safe, but also stay inspired. Start looking at that goal that we're setting on the calendar as far as the last days, the last week of March, the first week of April. No matter what the weather, it's going to be cold and wet, but that'll be the time that we break into the new activity. If you have made gains from spring, summer, and autumn, maintain them. Be gentle with yourself if you kind of get back to that previous set point, or if you start heading towards that previous set point. A set point is where the brain and the metabolic rate, the body, likes to be or is used to being at. So if you've been an extra 20 pounds, like I have not been able to break 140 pounds for like 20 years, but with my patients inspiring me, I try to do a couple things, and my daughter too. She also inspired me, but I did a couple things. I went below 140, and I don't want to go any further. I just want to maintain that and hopefully break through this dark period into spring again and see what abounds at that point in time. Even if you don't have a very restrictive diet planned for coming up, you can just maintain and hold steady with this next 3 months or the cold winter months. And then when spring comes, get back to what you were doing before in the spring, summer, and fall. And you might find your body actually releases the set point and drops down even further. Just if you're uncomfortable with taking your exercise indoors, hire a coach. Again, I always try to invest in somebody that'll keep my patients carried through. I have a lot of good coaches in Chicago. You might be able to look up a couple in your area. But just think of it as a temporizing measure until you can get to the next level. So hopefully this 2016 will be seeing even more of a change in the dynamics of the way your body works. Just be forgiving and don't beat yourself up too much, but at the same time, don't just sit on the couch and start to take in Thanksgiving dinners and leftovers and Christmas or New Year's alcohol. So know where your goals are, know where your limitations are, still enjoy the holiday.